Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, a weekly podcast broadcast live from a secret, undisclosed location here in the heart of the great state of Colorado. My name is Nickolas Razo, and without further ado, I present to you all our fearless patron, Hugo-Chavez. Give it up for the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, everybody. Good to see you tonight.
Oh, hello. Hispanic Patriot land. All across a fruited plain. Thank you for tuning in tonight for another episode of the Hispanic Patriot. We got a lot on tap tonight. We've got some heartfelt stuff we're going to share with you. We're going to be talking about the House, the Democrat House representative who basically just narrowly escaped censure by the House because 4 Republicans jumped over and voted with the Democrats. And then we're going to be talking a little about Colorado GOP chair Horn, who apparently has embroiled some people because of a secret loan. And then we're going to talk about this article that I ran across about the Hispanic right and how the GOP may have talked themselves out of an election win in November. Well, we'll discuss it. It's an interesting topic.
This is going to be a very big show, folks. Very heavy show.
Then we're going to talk about none other than clown from Representative Jason Crow in CD6 here in Colorado, a veteran who has the gall to basically, we'll talk about it.
He turned CD6 into 666.
Yep.
Here, first on the Hispanic Patriot Podcast.
And the Democrats out there urging military to ignore orders. Sharia law in Texas. And we got a few other items that we're going to cover. So,
my goodness. Like we said, heavy show, but one you're not going to want to miss a second of.
Yep. But we opened tonight with some sad news. Yesterday was a really bad day for me. Our home was shattered by the news of our little dog who woke up yesterday morning. Her name is Lola. Just turned 17 in September, and she woke up, and my wife woke me up and said, Lola can't get out of bed or won't get out of bed. So I got up to see what was going on, and it appeared that she didn't have any control of her hind legs. So I picked her up, took her out in the yard to see if she could walk around, and she stood up for a little bit. And, what happened was that she couldn't stand up. And so we had to call the vet as soon as they opened, and we took her in. They did an exam on her. We're going to share a little bit about Lola. She was a great dog.
I'm sure so many of our audience has had this experience with a pet. I have. Very sad.
Yeah. So Lola was, like I said, 17. This was Lola a few months old. She was quite the little rascal. She would, one of the things that we had another dog at the time who was a rat terrier who was about 5 years older than she was. And she would antagonize the heck out of her. And what she would do is she'd get her going and stuff, and then as soon as Maddie would turn towards her, she would take off and in a full sprint. And we had this couch in the living room, and Maddie was on her tail, and she would hit the bottom of that couch sliding, and she'd slide right under the couch where Maddie couldn't get to her.
No.
And it was hilarious because she did that for the longest time until one day she was a little bit too big, and she tried to do it, and she hit the bottom of the couch. Says, "Oh, I can't do that anymore." But Lola and Maddie were quite the pair. They, my wife used to joke and said, Maddie probably thinking, when is she going to go home? Because we had brought her into the home, and basically, you know, she had what do you call? Well, she was our new dog in the house, and Maddie until that time was the only dog in the house. So you know, Maddie used to think that Lola was just visiting.
How many of us have had that experience having our second dog come around? Huh?
And this is Lola. I think this was last year or the year before last. But she was quite the, what should I say? She was a Jack Russell. So she is what they call strong willed.
Yeah, Hugo likes his terriers. You can kind of see what kind of dog he likes. I think it's very similar to his choice and co-host. Rambunctious,
But Lola had quite a personality. I mean,
She did. I want to know. I met Lola too, and she was a sweet little doggy.
there she was.
Look at her. Hugo, they say that pets resemble their owners.
Oh yeah,
The last one, when I think of that.
she was stubborn. And my nickname for her was Dolphin Dog, as you can see by the collar. She was a Dolphin fan. And then this was Ninja Lola. She had quite the personality. I mean, she was always, Maddie died about 4 or 5 years ago. So we went through that with Maddie. And that was quite my wife and I had gotten married, and Maddie was her dog at the time. And then, of course, we got married, and then she was the family dog. And we got Lola about 5 years after we had met. And the story is really interesting because Lola was a puppy mill rescue. My wife's parents, my in-laws, had rescued her and another dog from this puppy mill, and we were over at their house to see them both. And Lola was that tiny little ball, and she couldn't hardly get around. She couldn't. There was this one step in the living room to the dining room that she couldn't get up, so you had to pick her up. But from the time that I met her, she would like follow me everywhere, and she was so the story went on, and I wasn't paying attention to her, but she was paying attention to me. And so I went and sat down on the couch, and then she came over and kind of like got up on my leg, and so I finally picked her up and I put her on my chest. And my wife says we both dozed off, and Lola was sleeping on my chest, and I was, I had dozed off, and so that was the bonding that took place. And then we finally ended up taking her home. And when we had her, we had a kennel in the bedroom because she was still a puppy, so we would kennel her at night. But before that, she would lay on my chest and fall asleep.
No, how beautiful is that? Then
I would pick her up and take her into her kennel, and we'd cover up so there wouldn't be any light, and then she would fall asleep and then get up in the morning. But that was the routine. But she became my dog, and I think she's definitely the longest dog I ever had. The other one was the Rottweilers that I had. They were sisters from the same litter. And
so for anyone who is wondering, yes, Hugo has chilled out over the years, as it turns out. You know what I mean? From hard-nosed hippie to Reaganite juggernaut to Rottweiler, godfather of Hispanic politics, to now his role as a peaceful mentor.
Yeah.
What a life. But Hugo, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you one thing about Lola is that because this is something that I noticed about you and her. Did you ever feel in sync on that level where an owner and a pet is a like little dog like that? Because I noticed that especially when older folks, this is something I'd love to talk with the older folks about. That when your kids, all grown, you have everything. It's nice to have a little bit of peace and quiet in a little dog like that. What do you think about that?
Oh, I agree. Well, there's research that says that proves that older folks, seniors that have dogs live longer
There you go.
uh, because they've got a connection, and I think the dog fills a void. Of course, after your kids grow up and move away. So yeah, like I said, I've had dogs pretty much all of my life since I was a kid, and I can remember pretty much all of them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I've had a Basset Hound, German Shepherd. Uh, I've had an Australian Shepherd. Um, I've had, we had, what was it? German Shepherd.
My family was
Golden.
partial to toy fox terriers. That was my dog. That was my mom's dog of choice. My grandmother raised border collies, but as most
Oh,
of you
those,
know, I raised on a horse ranch, so we had horses too,
boy,
and they are very sensitive animals as well.
Border
Folks,
Collies are great dogs.
they really are, and they're great farm dogs. We actually bred them. That was my grandmother's profession, along with the cabbage farm that we later got turned into a horse ranch. But folks, a thing that I want you all to take from this is you need to humanize yourself in politics. You need to remind yourself that you're not just a hard-nosed data junkie. You're not just somebody who's a crusader for your state and your country. You have to have that genteel nature, how to steal on the field, genteel in the palace kind of thing. That's what we have to have. We're meant to be warrior poets, and we're not just meant to be lugheads. We got to have love for animals and nature, and that's what Colorado, I think, is partially all about. That's one reason I love being here so much. Is there's so many loving dog owners here in Colorado, and Hugo definitely will remain one forever and ever until he sees Lola and all the other dogs he's had again.
Yeah. Well, beneath this facade here, I am a emotional wreck inside right now. It's
So,
barely been 24 hours, and the house is. Today was a very eerie day for me. Um, Everywhere I'd walk around, I'd be looking for her. It's like she would,
no.
wherever I went in the house, she was following me. Mary said, "She's your shadow," and I said, "Yep." Yeah, I
Well,
couldn't
she'll
go
all,
any. I couldn't go anywhere in the house where she was. She wasn't right behind me. It's like, what are you doing? What are you up to?
Oh, and I mean no disrespect by that, but that reminds me very much of my wife, who's been often called my shadow, and it's important to have some, that very closeness. And I wanted to say, Hugo, that we here, of course, at Hispanic Patriot Podcast, we love our fearless patron Hugo, and we would love for any of you guys send Hugo a little message of love if you'd like, or in the comments or whatever you'd like, just to let him know that you're thinking about him too, because all of us certainly appreciate him, and we appreciate him being here tonight.
Yeah. And to all those who, sent their thoughts and condolences yesterday on Facebook, thank you. That was very heartwarming. I had over 200 uh, people respond, so that helped me a lot. It was very much appreciated. So,
That's the Hispanic Patriot Army at work, people. We're here for our fearless patron, and we are also here for all of you.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, and we'll move on to our news segment now. We've got some news coming out of DC regarding
Wish that would stop sometime.
yep, um, MAGA outraged after House fails to censure Democrat representative embroiled in serious scandal. So, a push by the House Freedom Caucus to punish Delaware Stacey Plaskett over her newly exposed ties to Jeffrey Epstein fizzled Tuesday night after a revolt from several Republicans helped Democrats shut it down. Well, the measure sought to censure Delegate Plaskett. Oh, she's a Democrat from the Virgin Islands, of all places, and boot her from the House Intelligence Committee after text messages surfaced showing she exchanged notes with Epstein during Michael Cohen's February 2019 testimony.
We should also not forget that Stacey was also the main prosecutor during the second Trump impeachment.
Yeah. And if you don't remember Michael Cohen, he was the dirty lawyer that tried to turn on Trump and make stuff up to try to incriminate him, and it failed, and he ended up in prison. So the effort collapsed on a 209 to 214 vote after 6 Republicans sided with the left or voted present, which is another way of saying I abstain. Mm-hmm. Our favorite Ray Garcia statement. So 3 Republicans, Representatives Lance Gooden of Texas, Don Bacon of Nebraska, and Dave Joyce of Ohio, are now mud in my eyes, crossed the aisle to block the censure. Another 3 GOP lawmakers voted present. So,
what a horrible legacy this woman is leaving. You know, that's just terrible. The U.S. Virgin Islands being a beautiful, beautiful part of America, which was actually partially settled by the Knights of Malta. How about that? We have territory that was settled by knights, and now we have this woman representing. How the mighty have fallen, I have to say.
So that's and then of course the inimitable Jamie Raskin from
an old friend of hers, it should be said.
Yep. He led the Democrats' defense, branding the move one more pathetic effort to distract and divert attention from the fact that the president's name appeared more than 1,000 times already in the small fraction of material released on Epstein.
Ignore the fact that we're the ones who put it there, but he is in there.
Yeah, so Raskin repeatedly called Epstein Plaskett's constituent, pointing to the pedophile financier's residence in the Virgin Islands. The texts show Epstein taking an active interest in Plaskett, chances to grill Cohen, who used the 2019 hearings to accuse President Trump of orchestrating hush money payouts during the 2016 race. So at one point, Epstein wrote, "He's opened the door to question who we are, the other henchmen at Trump.org. Plaskett replied, "Yep, very aware and waiting my turn."
I mean, this woman sounds like a real Plaskett case to me.
There you go. Well played.
I didn't even have that one planned, folks. That was all off the cuff. But this is insane. You know, this is a woman who is clearly having some kind of guilty conscience, and now we know why. This is something that should have been known beforehand, and we all know how the Caribbean is very much a home for corruption and hiding things. This is why we often call them a Cayman Island bank accounts, etc., etc. But
that's where the Caymans are. Yep.
This is absurd right here with
a lot of corruption in the Caribbean. Yep, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right. So on from one despicable story to another. Our own Colorado GOP chair, Britta Horn, has been nailed or fingered, let's say, for getting a secret loan. Now, I'm on the state executive committee, and in about 45 minutes, we are going to be having an executive committee meeting. So that's going to be an interesting topic. But let's hear a little bit about what was said on the Chuck and Julie show yesterday, because I think this is going to be very interesting to some folks.
Chuck and Julie, bringing you the truth, straight up.
To make his way down, so he'll be here momentarily. The show brought to you by Mountain West Wellness, Advanced Acupuncture, and Chinese Medicine. Britta Horn, the chairperson. We've talked at length about the disaster that is her chairmanship. And now there is talk, rumors, but strong rumors, that she has taken out a secret loan, that her fundraising efforts are so abysmal that there basically is no money left. She's already left the party hundreds of thousands of dollars is in debt over legal fees that that the party, she, owes her personal attorney, Steve Klenda. And now on top of that, then, apparently, at least allegedly, she's taken out a secret loan in order to pay her executive director, administrative costs. A lot of questions about that.
And probably herself.
And we're hopeful tomorrow night, Thursday night, there is a state executive committee meeting. That's sort of I guess I would call it like 25 members or so, inner working circle of the Colorado Republican Party. And hopefully someone on there will ask her about that. But we'll bring Rich on to talk about it.
I want to correct her on that. It's a circle, but not her inner circle, because I'm in that circle and I'm definitely not in her inner circle.
Chair of the Jefferson County Republican Party, and he has talked about the fact that fundraising statewide has come to a halt under Britta Horn's leadership. She's just such a bad leader. She's been abandoned pretty much by everybody who supported her. Thank you, elected officials like Lauren Boebert, Barb Kirkmeyer, Gabe Evans, Hurd, and Crank, who helped bring her into office. Where are you guys now, right? Now that she's kind of like driven the Colorado Republican Party into the dirt, it's like, oh, well, never mind, see you. We have Americans for Prosperity on our side, so we don't need the Colorado Republican Party. Anyway, we'll be talking about that when we get Rich on, because I think Rich, as a county chair, it's kind of thing that affects not just party finances, but if it affects,
So I'd love a nice fat loan, because the state party has no assets. The only assets she had was the offices, and she gave away the furniture because she's just destroyed.
Nice studio Rich has there.
Everything. And, I know she's got to be in a terrible spot, because it must be horrible to just slowly and steadily alienate yourself from any human that's available on the planet. And that's what it appears to me she's done.
Yeah. So anyway, that gives you that's the gist of what the story is.
And folks, this is some very serious reporting here. We're kind of making light and we're kind of having fun with this, but this is a tragedy. Adam Dorito has come on the show and talked about this. We have literal millions of dollars in donations that is locked up, not going to Colorado, maybe never coming to Colorado. Now it might be too late, because we know that we have weak leaders who will not open the resources and money, especially in the oil and gas industry, that we have in this state. Britta came to power with her supporters, promising that oodles of money would fall from the sky. The opposite has happened. This is unacceptable.
Yep, and that's hopefully we'll be able to get something accomplished tonight, but we'll see. We'll report back on this next week.
Yes, look out for a special short tomorrow on that, and more news in the coming weeks.
Yep. All right, let's move on to a topic that a lot of Hispanics have been trying to analyze a little bit. There's, people want to know what happened in the November election and how the Hispanic vote fell into this thing. But this is an article that I came across from Bianca on Newsmax. She's a writer for Newsmax.
We like Newsmax here.
Yes. And Bianca Gracia is from Texas. So let's listen in a little bit about the article that she wrote. It says, "We didn't lose because of deportations. We did because the GOP ignored us." And she's referring to Hispanic voters. So let's listen in.
These are things people say about potential savings will vary. Not available.
Strategist who thought Hispanic voters were locked in. The mainstream media, Politico.com, The Washington Post, and the rest of the left-wing echo chamber are rushing to blame our losses on mass deportations. They are wrong. We did not lose because President Trump enforced the law. We lost because our own party forgot who we are fighting for. Let me be clear, the Republican Party did not lose because Hispanics turned their backs on Trump. We lost because the party turned its back on us. For years, this writer has been warning GOP leadership in Washington and across the states that you cannot win Hispanic voters with empty slogans and last-minute pandering. I have said it behind closed doors at meetings, and from every this writer has been invited to stand on. Every time I have been told we do not do identity politics. Well, how did that work
tired
for
of
you?
hearing that.
This is not identity politics. This is about identity, period. It is about who we are, what we believe, and whether the people asking for our votes actually understand our lives. Hispanic conservatives are not some special interest box to check. We are the backbone of America's working class, the defenders of faith, family, and freedom. Yet instead of elevating our voices, the GOP too often sidelines us or wheels us out for a campaign photo op. That is not representation, it is tokenism. The truth is our community loves America. We believe in law and order. We want secure borders. We know that chaos at the border hurts everyone, especially Hispanic families who came here legally, who work hard, and who do not want their neighborhoods overrun by crime or their schools overwhelmed. The liberal media simply cannot understand that, but Republican leadership should. We did not lose because Trump was too tough on immigration. We lost because the Republican establishment was too weak on communication. They failed to defend his record, failed to speak to our values, and failed to give Hispanic conservatives a voice at the table. They ignored local pastors, small business owners, mothers and fathers who are raising their kids with Christian values and old-school discipline. These are natural conservatives, but they will never hear that message if no one bothers to show up. The left has been running the same playbook for decades: divide, distract, and destroy. They hand out promises instead of opportunity and try to convince our people that government is their savior. Meanwhile, Republicans talk about economic freedom in boardroom language that does not reach a single working-class voter. You want to win Hispanics, speak our language literally and figuratively. Talk about the paycheck that is worth less because of Biden-era inflation. Talk about the grocery bill that is doubled, the mortgage rates that make it impossible for our kids to buy homes, and the cultural insanity that is attacking our faith and our children. Those are the issues that move us. This election was a prelude, a warning shot. If the GOP continues to treat Hispanic conservatives as an afterthought, we will lose 2026 and beyond. But if we start empowering Hispanic leaders, investing in our communities, and putting authentic conservative Hispanics at the forefront of this movement, we can rebuild the multiracial, working-class coalition that first made the Trump revolution possible. Hispanics are not leaving the Republican Party. The Republican Party is leaving us. It is time to change that. The future of our movement depends on it.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious.
Oh, that's a nice message right there. I mean, the last part. The first message about the GOP insanely failing to mobilize the Hispanic voters that won them 2024 in part, that is not good.
Yep.
And it's completely true. I mean, I am so sick of hearing this nonsense about, oh, we don't do identity politics, and then we wonder why we lose the Black and Hispanic vote. I mean, guys, I understand that white Americans have been beaten down so that they are not allowed to be proud of their identities. They're not allowed to be proud of their histories. That didn't happen in Hispanic countries. So we came to America not with our huevos in a vice the same way. And we have an interest in removing that vice from the pride of our fellow Americans. This is something very passionate that I'm about. I will say that.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, you know, the fact is that I agree with a lot of what she said. There's a couple of things that I don't kind of agree with. One of the things is that you have to have a coalition, but you have to have the inner workings of the party talking and connecting with the Hispanics that are out there. They're Hispanic leaders. It's again, like what you said earlier and what others are saying, the ones that don't want to talk about it all, the first thing out of their mouth is, oh, I don't do identity politics. Well, you know what? You better start doing some identity, because Hispanics are the fastest growing demographic in the country. And sooner or later, we are going to have a huge voice. We already have a big voice. We're up close to 25% in the country. And in another 10 to 15 years, it's going to be up into the 30 percentiles.
And there's also a hidden population of Hispanics if you only go by the racial statistics, because over generations, especially with intermixing, there are many Hispanics who identify as white, but have the Hispanic culture. Many of them are Catholic. And so, and the influence of Hispanic culture on America is unmistakable, especially here in the Southwest.
Yep. So stop with the identity politics comments and start paying attention to what can be the actual savior, if you will, of the Republican Party. The Republican Party is the natural home of conservative Hispanic families, and they will recognize that more and more as we go along, regardless of what some of these people that want to fall back on this identity politics commentary say. This is a inevitable trend. It will happen, so you might as well embrace it and realize that I said we because I'm Hispanic, but we love this country. We want this country to be successful. We want this country to grow and prosper, and we want our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren to prosper as well. And we are not here to make the United States of America Venezuela again. Okay, we're just not. So some of you need to get a clue. I'm sorry to say some of our own Republican colleagues just still don't get it. You beat them over the head with the facts and they still don't want to get it. So,
well, I'm going to be honest, Hugo. I might go a little far here, but I think that some of it is jealousy. I think that especially, I'm just going to say it, I think especially among very established people, many white Americans who are powerful or have been in politics a long time, they're very mature and clean cut, I think there's a little jealousy for the life and allowance of expression that they see in the Hispanic community. But I have a message to all you. You all can be just as proud of your Germanness, your Swedishness, your Frenchiness, whatever ish you are,
whatever ness,
whatever ness or ish, or man you are, you're allowed to be proud of it. In America, we are La Repubblica. We are the Republic, which means
That's
if you
right.
are part of this civilization of ours, you can come here and bring your skills that have been developed over centuries of war and creativity and all these things and make it part of the United States. We need that. So, all of you guys who are feeling repressed, break free of that conditioning. Be proud of who you are and join us Hispanics in being proud of who we are, because American is the top of that list. All of us.
That's right. So pay attention, folks, because as Bob Dylan used to say, the times they are a changing.
Thank God for that. We were hating them staying the same. Would you like things to stay the same? No, I'd like some change, please.
That's right. All right. Now let's move on to something that'll make your blood boil if you're a America First Patriot.
If it hasn't gotten boiling already.
Yes. As you know, in Colorado, we have this guy named Crow. He's a crow.
He eats a lot of it.
He's a Jason Crow who loves to eat crow. Yeah. This guy. The sad thing is that this guy is a veteran. Okay.
Yeah.
And
with a Bronze Star for combat initiative too, with extra, I forget the name of it, but there's an extra honor to his Bronze Star as well. He's really should know better in a lot of ways.
Maybe he took a few too many kicks to the head when he was in the service. I don't know. But anyway,
at least he did it for our country. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we think
we appreciate his previous service to the country. His current service to the country, it's not doing so hot.
Yeah, he's making it look kind of dubious, if you will. But there's this little thing that you probably saw where he and some other Democrats have come out, and there's new little campaign that they have is they want military personnel to disobey illegal orders.
Now that's blood boiling right there.
Okay, now I was in the military, okay? And, interestingly enough, one of the first things they taught us in boot camp is you do not have to follow an illegal order, okay? So, I mean, this is something that's known from very early on in your military career. So
yeah, it's not an explanation. What we have to stress right now, we are not exaggerating anything. It's not that these guys are looking at the camera and saying, you know that you can do this. It's more like, guys, you can ignore illegal orders, right? Wink, 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 wink. That's what they're doing.
This is
and it's fooling nobody.
This is what they call the Trojan horse approach. They've introduced this little memorandum, so to speak. Let's listen to what Mr. Crow had to say to this.
Yes, right from the horse's mouth, the crow's mouth.
Wonderful CNN reporterette. Oh, I love her.
Saying that they are going to take a very close look at you and your colleagues.
Well, it's wild to me that Trump world gets really bent out of shape whenever anybody, whether it's me or anyone else for that matter, reminds people that they have to follow the law. Whether that's military, law enforcement.
Well, you guys do it so few times. So.
Yeah, like they're so good about following the law, right?
We say you have an obligation to follow the law and the Constitution. They take really great exception to that, and frankly, that's telling.
Why did you feel obligated to make a video reminding military troops?
Is it just me, or does he look like he just rolled out of bed in that suit?
That they should refuse illegal orders?
Before I was going to deploy with my platoon to Iraq in 2003, I went through an extensive process to train these paratroopers on marksmanship, on room clearing, on small unit tactics, but also on law.
On partying with Hussein.
We put these young men and women in very, very difficult positions all the time where they have to make split-second decisions and interpret situations in what's lawful, what's moral, and what's not. That's why we train. That's why we talk about it. That's why we demystify those conversations. So what we're doing is we're starting the process of that discussion, and we're reminding those young men and women that they have obligations not to any individual, not to any political party, but to the Constitution and to the rule of law. That is their obligation. Has made a series of very, very disturbing comments that would indicate that he is threatening to use the military in an unlawful way. So it's really important that we have a conversation about what people need to do if that happens.
Well, and of course, you got a Bronze Star for your time there in 2003. Obviously, I think is a good thing to remind people of. But have you heard from members of the military currently that are worried that they might get an illegal order? I mean, I just think that's the question of to what prompted this.
Yeah, no, I absolutely have. I have a lot of friends, a lot of connections.
Don't you just love the way they frame the questions?
This president has put our military in very, very difficult situations already. Sending troops into cities, threatening to go to war with the city of Chicago, threatening to shoot protesters in Lafayette Square in the first Trump administration, alluding to maybe using the military at polling stations, which actually is against U.S. law. That would be a criminal violating law. So there's a lot of track record here that is very concerning, which is why it's important for us to have this discussion and remind those men and women who we stand by that they have obligations and they have people who will support them.
Yeah, you stand by them when it's convenient for you.
Something bad.
Give me a break, man. This guy's a clown.
Well, and so additional context for everybody. Jason and some other guys, people, some girls, Congress people, they made a video in which they were very much doing the wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing, saying soldiers should and can and should disobey illegal orders. The problem is that when people talk about illegal orders, they typically mean, and we'll mention this at the end of the show, stuff that you would get sent to Nuremberg for. That I was just following orders. So what the Democrats are accusing Donald Trump of is the same thing that Trump is accusing them of. They're accusing him of using the military in a treasonous, illegal way, and Trump is rightly pointing out that inciting the military to disobey orders when you're a political figure is using your political power to stop the kinetic force of the military. This is treason. This is treason, and in the age of 5th-generation warfare, where our enemy is manipulating our politics, we cannot tolerate our politicians sowing division in the minds of our military. This is treasonous, and these Democrats have gotten away with it for so long they forgot what the punishment is.
And it's also sedition. That's a federal crime.
Sedition is actually the word for it. It's not technically treason, it's sedition, but still.
Sedition is punishable by death.
Yes. in every country, has been forever since the beginning of countries.
Yep. So let's tune in on the same topic and let's hear what Joyless Reed has to say about this.
She could barely read.
Oh no!
Did it send us straight to an ad?
I clicked on the wrong button, guys. So here we go. All right.
Literally sent us to the ad.
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
Okay. Play. Darn it.
The ad.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly. Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show. The Senate unanimously agreeing to pass the House-backed bill forcing the Justice Department to release the Jeffrey Epstein case files with some notable exceptions. It's on its way to President Trump, who has done a complete 180 and now says he supports the release of the files. But get ready for this up close and personal. So it's great to see you.
Yeah.
I have to start with something joyful. Okay, we're going to start with something super joyful. I think this is going to make us all happy. And it happens to relate to a woman named Joy. In this case, Joy Reid, who, believe it or not, you're going to applaud. Listen to SOT 13.
I would be disturbed. I'm telling you, I would be alarmed. I'm alarmed enough when I see a woman with her dangling boobies. Yeah. If I saw a penis in the ladies' locker room, I would freak out too. This is nothing against trans anybody. What it's saying is, I
think this is the wrong topic, folks.
But I wanted to just make a joke. Every single black lady in the country right now is revolting against the transgender issue, specifically because, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I'm just going to have a fun little thing with this. Transgenderism in the black community is like an actual problem for several sociological reasons. You might have heard about this, that it's very common for black transgender people to show up dead because they'll catfish black men and they'll get mad and kill them, which obviously is a horrible tragedy, but kind of the most obvious thing that would happen if you committed violation on a large, angry black man. I think that would be the natural reaction. So yeah, anyone who's interested, black community, revolting against transgenderism right now.
Yeah, so basically, this little latest escapade by the Democrats to try to put in another nail in the gears of the Trump administration regarding this memo that they put out to inform the military and the intelligence community to understand that they have the right to disobey illegal orders. Okay? Well, gee, thanks, Captain Obvious. Give me a break. Everybody knows what they're trying to do. They're just trying to throw monkey wrenches into everything, and whenever they run out of things to do, they think up of some other crazy scheme. So this is just another one.
I wanted to tell you, Hugo, in my generation, there's a wonderful comedy sketch group called Whitest Kids You Know, and they literally predicted this, actually. They made a joke about how you're not allowed to say, I want to harm the president of the United States, and they kept saying it in a way, they put diagrams of how you could attack the White House and stuff, and the whole joke of the matter is, isn't it funny that I'm allowed to go this far, but I'm not allowed to go farther? These Democrats actually went farther than just the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They put out a memo proving that they did and accompanying video evidence.
Yep.
So there you go, folks.
Be watching that story. That's going to be interesting. My sources tell me that the DOJ is looking into this.
As they should.
There could be potential charges following.
And they should scare the hell out of them even if they don't stick, because it's like, you guys need to learn. You got to follow the rules. We have so much not following the rules, and I'm tired of it in politics. As Dimitri from GTA 4 said, you can choose the game you play, but you cannot change its rules.
Yep. All right. So we switch gears here now, and we're going to go to a story out of Texas, and actually Steve Bannon's War Room, where he's talking about impeachment looming in 2026 and Sharia law in Texas, of all places. And the governor was speaking on that today, by the way, and said Sharia law is definitely banned in Texas. So they're looking into what's going on there.
As it should be.
I stopped going to the urologist.
Someone has to make the question, like, who wants real law in America, honestly?
What in the world is going on with my videos today? I'm doing videos, and it keeps switching over to...
So if anyone's curious, ads these days, very invasive.
Yeah.
In ways they didn't used to be. But no, what it's worth, yes, that's what they do nowadays, is they'll link you to the video when you try to stop it.
All right, now I'm getting mad.
Yeah, Rumble is not as good as it used to be in terms of the ads. And BitChute as well. Very sad.
Sheinbaum was elected. They killed 27 different conservative candidates, largely assassinated by the cartels. And in many cases, it was funded by the Chinese Communist Party because they're trying to do state capture of Mexico with the fentanyl, with the other drug trafficking, and with other aspects of trade. The CCP is trying to put their hooks in at all levels of the Mexican society. That becomes a huge problem for the United States. And again, I'm not advocating an 1845 style invasion at Veracruz again. We need to push for...
What is the administration really trying to do? Is it about oil? They'll state fentanyl, but fentanyl is not...
Colombian cocaine. Some exact end goal here, we're just not sure.
Wednesday, 19 November, year of our Lord 2024. They're arguing the case of why the bad hombres had to get on the plane and get out of the country, correct?
Correct, but it's specifically...
They're trying to slide it into the NDA and make it a... Now, this thing's created a firestorm already. And
removed that.
Hang on, what do you mean? Was that put up in a...
Sharia, on the other hand, is a culture of violence and domination, totally anathema to the concept of individual freedom. The United States Constitution and Sharia are fundamentally at odds with one another. The Constitution begins with "we the people." Sharia states Allah has said. Followers of Sharia believe Muhammad received a divine legal code that stands supreme over all man-made laws. While Western civilization has evolved, Islam has not. Islam is stuck in the 8th century, and if they succeed at imposing their beliefs upon us, we will be dragged back into the Dark Ages. The contrasts are stark when comparing Sharia to the strides made by the United States in 250 years. The 13th Amendment...
Colonel Self joins us now. Colonel, Blockbuster News yesterday, I was in a conference room with you 5 or 6 weeks ago of what you said, hey, this is my priority to save Texas and save the country. And in 5 weeks, Governor Abbott has now come out and designated both the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE as, according to Texas law, as foreign terrorist organizations. Talk to us about that, sir.
Well, this is an important first step, Steve, and that's all it is. It's an important first step to wake up Texas that this is coming. That I don't know why the Muslims have gone on the offense right now.
You know, what's really amazing to me is that the Muslims are so bold as to try this crap in Texas. I mean, they don't realize the good old boy network in Texas and the rednecks that are just sitting there waiting for something like this to come along. And I don't understand their strategy because I think they're underestimating, or they want to poke the bear, and they're going to find out what the bear can do.
Now in a matter of days, weeks, months, but they have. We've got to wake up. We've got to understand the danger. And I would tell you, don't be intimidated, because this is a dogma of intimidation. Yes, you can walk your dog on the sidewalk, and they can't tell you that you are offending them. So both our citizens, our local government, our state government cannot be intimidated. This is an...
What are you doing?
Did he freeze? Okay, we'll have to reboot him. If we can't reboot him, let's go ahead and do it.
He's having trouble too.
For anyone who's actually noticed that kind of stuff, we really appreciate that we at least have the same technical standards as the War Room. But no, and this is something we need to.
Isn't
really know
it
about.
interesting though that the Muslims would try this Sharia law stuff in Texas of all places? I mean, they could have gone to some liberal left-wing state where they get no resistance, but they're gonna go to the breadbasket of America in Texas and try to intimidate Texans with Sharia law. Oh my God, this is not going to end well.
No, it's not. And it's going to really make the point clear that we need to have border security. We need to continue the Trump doctrine on the border, regardless of how many presidential administrations we move forward at. If Trump has done anything, he has set the standard on border security. Because, folks, it's not just Mexicans coming through the border. There's Somalians and Russians and Chinese and Venezuelans and all kinds of people who want to bring drugs in our country and do harm. We can't let that happen.
Yep. All right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I am going to have to be prepping for this executive committee meeting. So I am going to leave the reins to my fellow co-host, Nickolas Razo, who will close out the show. I will see you all next week, and good night. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great weekend coming up, and happy Thanksgiving. We'll probably be doing something ahead of Thanksgiving. Obviously, we're not going to do a show on Thanksgiving Day, but
because Hugo's a nice boss.
We'll figure that one out, and but we'll probably see y'all sometime next week.
Yeah, it's always good to see you, Hugo. Very much always appreciate.
All right, have a good night. I'm going to slide out now.
There you go. Good luck at the XCOM meeting. Have fun.
Okay. Go ahead, take it from here.
Of course. As you all know, Hugo is a very hard worker, and his obligations to the country and the party and the state come first. So we very much appreciate that from our intrepid and fearless patron. Well, folks, what we're going to do for the end of the show is take a look at 3 important things happening on this day, specifically on this day, 11th month, 20th day, November 20th. The reason it is so important and that I am being so dramatic about it is because it is the 80th anniversary of the Nuremberg trials. The Nuremberg trials, of course, as we all know, were the trials that led to the executions of Nazi war criminals, first to condemn them as war criminals, and then to execute them as such. So we are looking at a world which is falling apart at the seams. And the reason for this is something that I want all of you to study as best you can, which is 5th-generation warfare. 5th-generation warfare. Adam Dorito has talked about it on the show. I've mentioned him before because his work on this and many other military things is very, very, in my opinion, key to winning the future wars. But right now, what I want to mention about the Nuremberg trials is the fact that people who engaged in disinformation, particularly Julius Schreck, who was the, if I'm pronouncing that name right, who was the man behind the newspapers, Nazi newspapers, if I'm not mistaken about the particular individual. The key point and takeaway from this is that those who call for our military to turn against itself, our country to turn against itself, this is part of 5th-generation warfare. The fact that we are seeing immigrants, migrants being pushed through borders illegally, this is part of 5th-generation warfare. The fact that we're seeing drugs pour into our country, this is all the Trump rhetoric. Do you notice this? What Trump was always doing from the start of 2016 to now is preparing America for 5th-generation warfare, a time where our adversaries, we've been at peace for so long and doing proxy wars for so long that now they've figured out how to hurt us without being at war with us. This is something that we have never engaged with before, and that has involved every citizen of our country. Every citizen of our country is involved in this war. Not only that, Almost every single socioeconomic, political, all of these problems that you're facing, almost all of them have been exacerbated by foreign governments trying to destroy our country from our society within. When you don't have the basic necessities of life, when you are addicted to drugs, when you are having problems in your society, developing, finding partners, finding housing, this is actually all in part. Not saying all of it is foreign adversaries, but a big part of it is. And I think we young people have been told for so long, you just need to shut up and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Guys, those days are over. The bootstraps have been sold for gas money, and the boots themselves are about to be thrown in the dryer to be shrunk and eaten as leather. Okay? We're in desperate times. We are probably in Great Depression conditions, really, and yet it is something being repressed. We have to be very open about how dangerous and how difficult our society is right now. And I think the Nuremberg trials this anniversary gives us a huge motivation to do so, because we know what the end results are for those at all levels, whether they were at bot farms somewhere in the Kremlin or drug farms somewhere in Sichuan. Every single one of them are kinetically viable targets. I want to make that very clear. And if that includes traitors within our own country who are committing treason and they don't even think it's treason, that's not our problem if they don't recognize it as treason. It is. But I also want to give credence to another idea, a very dangerous idea that was the flip side of when we get the Nuremberg trials wrong. And for that, I have a quote from one of the men who escaped from the Nuremberg trials, because I think regardless of whatever evil he did or did not commit, Otto Skorzeny was his name. He also worked for Israel and Egypt and many other countries, so he got around. But he had a horrible prediction for the Nuremberg trials, what took place 80 years ago. And he said that war is inevitable, and that in our time it will be truly worldwide. We see that again with the World War III that's developing. It will unravel everywhere, and there will be no limits to its battlefield. The condemnations of Nuremberg will be one of the main reasons, because the cause to war, to conflicts whose horrors are unparalleled, these condemnations will give birth to new concepts that makes the hero always the victor and the vanquished always an odious criminal. By this fact alone, each leader will wage war like a demon in order not to be the loser and consequently become a criminal. All the atrocities in the world imagined by man will be committed during the next war in order to prevent the enemy from acquiring victory. I have repeated this to American representatives and warned them that all the mothers of the world will one day curse their country. That's a horrible prediction, folks. But it's true in many ways. Every dictator we've ever fought has fought to the death. Have you ever wondered why that was? Because when we fought the dictators to their deaths in World War II, we made sure that all of their cronies and all of the people under them paid. That's very recent in history. And we have to make a choice. Do we continue that path and be ruthless towards the root of our enemy's evil? Or do we say some evil is okay? Some evil is okay. I know what side I'd like to be on, folks. I know what side I'd like to be on. And to close out the show, folks, so we don't end on an unhappy note, I want to wish an amazing happy birthday to my wonderful wife, Alyssa. It is her birthday today, and after this, I really, really just can't wait to express everything that a good husband does to his wife on her birthday. Thank you for being alive another year. Thank you for surviving and thriving. Guys, we have to survive and thrive. And so every year we are alive, we must give thanks to God. But also, we should definitely give thanks when our friends and loved ones get in another year as well. So happy birthday, Alyssa. We at Hispanic Patriot Podcast wish you feliz cumpleaños, and God grant you many more years, especially here in this beautiful state that we are saving every day. for all of you. But folks, there it is. There it is. The music which tells us we must go. God bless America. God bless Colorado. God bless all of you. And thank you for watching Hispanic Patriot Podcast. Be sure to hit the like button, leave us a comment, and make sure you subscribe and share with your friends. Have a good night, everybody.